So, the Ghostbusters remake, starring an ensemble cast of some of the most notable women comics of today, has just hit theaters this week, introducing a whole new generation to the colorful, energetic fright fest that is the Ghostbusters experience. The critic reviews are good, but as of now it appears to be struggling at the box office to regain its $144 million budget. It being highly topical and having just gone to see it myself, it now appears to be the time to talk about this 1984 film reincarnation. In this video, I will not be comparing the film to the original, as I imagine at this time everyone and their mom has already flooded the internet with such videos and articles, but instead I will talk about the film in regards to its individual merits and faults. However, given that it is practically impossible to talk about this film while completely ignoring its origins, please forgive me if I have to eat those words later on. Also, this being my very first YouTube video, I have to pray that the internet will be gentle with my opinions. I can hope. So, without further ado, let's dive in. Now, I suppose the first thing I should say is that the film is good. Not great, but good. It's a kind of reimagining that neither tries to outdo the original nor lazily cash in on its merits, and instead presents a respectful homage to its origins while still splicing in more than enough original content to grant it its own identity. Kristen Wiig, Kate McKinnon, Leslie Jones, and Melissa McCarthy all do excellent jobs as their characters, and bring to life a whole new team of ghost-fighting friends as an identity that is distinctly female yet absent of any gender cliches and stereotypes. The humor is good and well balanced, having a wide array of character, observation, and slapstick-based gags, and comfortably stays in a level that's palatable to both older children and adults and not limited to the taste of the time. The fear elements all hit their mark, creating moments that will have people jumping one minute then giggling the next, and the wide variety of neon, ghosts, and ghouls produce the spooky yet only transiently threatening effect one can only hope to find in the greatest of amusement park haunted houses. Ultimately, go see it. Now, before I go into some of the negative aspects of the film, I have to warn you that there are going to be some spoilers, as many of these points are plot related. So if you haven't seen the movie yet, you may want to switch this video off. Are they gone? Cool, let's continue. One of the first problems I have with the film was the pacing of its character introduction. The film begins with a fantastic prelude where supernatural events occur in a historical home while the tour guide is locking up for the night. The scene perfectly showcases the kind of lightly twisted humor and epically proportioned ghoulish events to be found in the rest of the film. However, once this scene concludes, the film begins to rush itself. The scene where we first meet our main character, Erin, is also the same scene where she's presented with the inciting incident that leads to the team's formation. There is some backstory given. We learn that she is a physics professor with a class of low attendance and that she has written a book in the past on ghosts, but all we really get is a 30-second viewing of her acting weird in front of an empty classroom before the plot starts rolling. This might just be personal preference, but I usually like to see the main character interact with their regular environment a bit more before they are thrown into the development of a conflict. This is made worse by the fact that many of the earlier scenes with Erin have plot points that ultimately don't go anywhere. We learn early on that she is hoping to get tenure, which is why she is hesitant to participate in anything supernaturally related, as it might sour her image in the eyes of her superiors, but only scenes later she is fired and this conflict ultimately goes nowhere. It would have almost made more sense if the film started off with her unemployed, and that's why she gets roped into being a Ghostbuster, and this would have still allowed for the film to give her reasons for being hesitant. However, none of these things are my biggest problem, although they are related to it, and that problem is the film's lack of depth. That is to say, the plot is lacking significant details. We do get backstory on Erin and Abby and information on how they were friends in the past and why they wrote their book, but it only goes so far. For instance, I never felt like we were painted a clear picture on what originally made her leave ghost hunting or really much of what they were doing before that time. Then there's Kate McKinnon's character, who seems permanently relegated to quirky comic relief and absolutely nothing is revealed about her. Though I would say that the worst case of this is still with the villain. His deal is that he is a miserable misanthrope who wants to unleash a legion of ghosts on the city because he feels bullied by the general populace. He plans to do this by using a machine that looks like something akin to a particle accelerator in terms of complexity to open a portal to the underworld, and ultimately plans to kill himself so he can become a super ghost in order to lead his assault. How does he have the expertise to build such a machine? He's a genius. Okay. Well, how does he know that when he dies he'll become some kind of super ghost as opposed to just another run-of-the-mill ghoul? Dead silence. I have to say I also wish he had some more meaningful interactions with the main cast before turning into a giant monster. It also bothered me how after he dies he goes from being an extremely socially awkward, borderline paranoid schizophrenic to a confidence-oozing smack talker. Yes, he probably would have found renewed self-worth in his new position, but it almost seems like the movie forgets who he's supposed to be once he no longer has a matching appearance to keep him grounded. With all this said, I do find myself compelled to come to the film's defense for some of the common criticisms put against it. Many have claimed that one of the movie's bigger problems is that it moves at a snail's pace and takes forever to get to the main plot. I would wholeheartedly disagree with this. You're probably thinking this is to do with my earlier comment about the plot getting started too quickly before character establishment can take place, but that's not entirely it. The forming of the group and what sets the characters on the road to the climactic conflict does establish itself a little forcefully, but in regards to the rest of the film, I don't find much issue with its pacing, either too fast or slow. This probably depends on what you're looking for in a movie, but when a production involves an origin story of something as lucrative in creativity as a group of people who fight ghosts, I kind of like the disjointed events approach. Like the overall arc of the story is about the characters working themselves up to deal with the climax by fighting through other isolated conflicts, following almost television-like sensibilities. It allows for a higher frequency of creative scenarios to find independent time on stage, and almost seems more realistic when you think about it. Personally, I have nothing to complain about there. All in all, I still recommend this movie despite all grievances. If you're in the mood for something that'll give you a taste of Halloween early this year, or just a fan of the original film, I'd say it's definitely worth your time. I hope you enjoyed my video, and I want to stress that these were all just my opinions, and I don't profess to be that educated on anything film. If you liked it, I wish you a good day, and if you didn't, well, let it rip in the comments. Hopefully see you next time, and goodbye for now.